Welcome to our webinar. We do it on a weekly basis, but today is a special one because we are here. Normally it's our friend Sam. So I'm Valeri and this is my co-founder Brick, and today we'll be talking about content marketing strategy. Why is that so important for your brand and how to set one up? I will be tackling kind of global overview, and Brick will be diving more in depth at the end. So let's get started. First thing I want to do is I will share my screen and I will disable my camera because it's easier for you to follow. So let me check that. This desktop, right? All right, share. And then I will do voila. Normally you can now see, now you can see my presentation, our logo, our little slot, William here. All right, so content marketing. So first things first, content marketing exists as long as people can speak. Long before internet was ever even invented. So here we have a perfect example, Michelin company. Everyone knows it. If you don't, it's a tire company actually. And it was 1900 when they released their first guide. It was for like 400 pages and it contained information about trips, hotels, restaurants, but also about car parts and car repairs. So back then there were about 2,000 cars in France, but they produced 35 copies of these books. So, and this is how hard they believed in car industry. So the whole idea behind that was that more and more people would travel, and because they would travel more, they would need new tires, and guess where they would buy them? And of course it did work. This Michelin guide still exists today, and it's very kind of important brand. So times change, technology changes, but the principles are still the same. Content marketing is all about storytelling. It's about the value you create for your customer. And there are so many different forms of content marketing right now. You have social media, video, podcasts, and blogging, of course. And it's crucial for you as a brand to experiment with all the different forms, depending on where your audience is. But let's dive deeper into blogging for now and see how we combine different and other forms of content marketing in there. And the reason for that is just because blogging, it costs 60% less than traditional marketing, but it generates 3 times more leads over time. And by blogging, I don't mean like boring text. I mean videos. I mean interactive content with podcasts and visuals and quotes. It's just to make your reader retain more in your story and make your content more snackable. So what are the reasons? Why do we need that? So reason number 1, content marketing allows you to position yourself and your company as a real thought leader in your niche. Someone who is an expert and someone who people can actually trust. And if you have achieved that, the chances that they will come to you and retain as a customer are highly increased. Another important reason is that blogging is the perfect way to drive traffic to your website. It's dynamic content, it's indexed in search engines, and people will find you through blogs because they look for solutions for their problems on search engines like Google. And if you blog and your competitor doesn't blog, you will get approximately 70% more leads than your competitor just because you do it. And it's all actually about distribution. Your audience is on all the different channels out there. So you have to kind of be there too. You have to reach them across all of them and make sure you kind of adapt your content towards each channel you publish your content to. So what makes a great content marketing campaign? There are similarities across very successful campaigns, and just want to highlight a few of them. So first of all, it's like the number 1 rule your content should always solve a problem for your target audience. Make sure you know what they're looking for and make sure you adapt your content for them. And you also have to have a system in place. It's not enough to just create something and post it out there, because it will bring nothing. You have to have a strategy, a system to chase these KPIs to actually achieve, to get to your audience and get their trust. And like keyword strategy and research and content distribution has to be part of your strategy. And this is what Brick will talk about more in depth. And also, you have to bring your visitors further into the buying cycle. Very important. Like, you have to add call to actions to each content piece you produce, so your marketing can actually generate these leads and convert these readers to actual buyers. So here is an example. You have a travel agency, and what they do, they created a totally new website, which is on WordPress, made by an agency. Looks very nice, but it's all stories. It's travel stories. It's stories about people going on vacation, but it's topics that they do research about. For example, 5 best hotels to travel with kids, or like 4 tips to go on vacation in May, and so on. And based on these topics, they create stories, and they actually hire influencers or write stories themselves, or give their customers a free trip in exchange for a story. And because it's so authentic, people actually read it and enjoy it. And at the end of each story, there is always a call to action. Like, I also want to do the same trip. And once they click there, they go to the main website of this travel agency where they can actually book a trip. And this is a #1 lead gen channel for them right now at the moment. They produce a lot of traffic with that and a lot of leads. So another thing that is very important, you should stay on your brand, and you have to kind of make sure you're recognizable. For example, here at Story Chief, we always create custom images for our blog posts. We also always have the same tone of voice, and that's the reason people actually recognize us. So let's quickly talk about like content strategy, a short like checklist. I have like 5 quick tips here how to get started. How do you actually get started with your content? So first things first, make sure you identify your target customers you write for. It's super important. You have to take this person, not a business, not an industry, but a real person working in there, and someone who is ready to buy today, someone whose hair is on fire, and you have like the water to distinguish the fire, you know? And it has to be like an early adopter, someone who is ready to buy now, like real today, not tomorrow. And this would be our ideal customer, for example. But you have to know them. You have to discover their struggles, not only on professional level, but also on an emotional level. Like, what keeps them up at night? What are the struggles? What do they stress about? How can you help them? How does their day look like? You have to know you have to be actually obsessed with them. Everyone on your team has to be obsessed with these people, and make sure your services and your messaging is aligned to that. For that, you can find tons of persona templates online. This is, for example, if you just Google, you can find a lot of cool templates, and you just fill it in. Just look at your existing customers for now, and look at like stuff, for example, okay, who is our ideal user? Who is our ideal client now already? And how long did it take us to close the deal? You know, based on that info, you can kind of create your ideal persona for now. Fill that in and make sure you adjust it all the time, that you experiment. And once you know this, you have a golden knowledge actually. And then you have to determine the best content channels where your audience is at. For example, if you're a small company and you are very good at videos, then do videos, you know. And if your audience is watching YouTube all the time, you know, just create videos all the time. But make sure it's the type of content you create is something which you can create on consistently, not like one video a month or something, but weekly, maybe 2 vlogs or something. Or if you create blogs, you can write, just create blogs. Or if your audience is listening to in the car on the way to work, create podcasts. So make sure you know where your audience is at and create that type of content and post it on these channels where they are at. And blogging is the easiest one because you can do it very quickly, while video takes more time. And actually, if you grow as a company, you have more resources, I advise really to create all the different forms, create podcasts, create videos, create blogs. You can kind of combine everything all together. But make sure it's consistent and you can do this. Once you've done it, once you know the channels, once you know the personas, it's time to start generating topics. And for that, you can use different tools. That's also something Rick will talk about in a moment. But you have tools like Uber Suggest, Google Trends, and there you can actually see what do people look for online, what is your audience is looking for, and based on that, you create topics. And again, make sure you have a funnel. Every piece of content you produce should move people closer to leave their contact details or to purchase something. So it's like the marketeer's #1 priority all the time is to generate a list of leads that they, with their efforts, with their content. Otherwise, you just don't do it, right? So here is a perfect example of editorial calendar, which was created by Buffer, and you can actually Google it. It's available, it's public. So you see there that they have all the content ideas in the left, where they drop the ideas, and it's also based on stuff they pick up on social media, of stuff they see around, or actual keyword research. And then it moves to pipeline, ready to be written. And then they have like content to relaunch, very important. It's content that they already launched in the past and worked very, very well. So they relaunch it again on a regular basis, but maybe tweak it a bit. You see what's in progress and so on. But each card here in Trello, if you click on it, you can actually see how it's built up. So you have, it's really like strategic here. You have a type of content that you can create. So for example, blog, social post, whatever. You have a topic. What's the topic about? Maybe you have a new feature that you're releasing, or maybe, I don't know, you have a new e-commerce shop, a new product. And then you also have personas, what this topic is targeted to, and also keywords, very important. Keywords is also in there. Like, okay, look for keywords that are worth writing for. Don't write for keywords that are already taken or are too expensive to promote. So this is like, look for opportunities there too. There are a lot of more tips and tricks on our blog. If you go to blog.storychief.io, you can find very cool in-depth articles that we make to help you out. But we also created 2 guides. You have this website, contentstrategychecklist.com, where you can see like all the different steps I mentioned, but more in depth, and also actually with tools, free tools, paid tools that you can use to help you achieve and set up your content strategy. And also we have another website called contentwritingchecklist.com, where you can actually see how to create a kick-ass article that will generate leads for you. So now my colleague Rick will take over from here, and he will talk about how to become a thought leader and how to build that traffic with content.
Yeah, thank you, Valerie, for this interesting introduction from content strategy. I just want to get a bit more into detail how to apply this strategy and how to eventually dominate Google, because that's really what we want to accomplish. And if we drill it down, it's about 2 steps, and it's about building organic traffic. So organic traffic is great because organic traffic is basically free. You can do a lot of ads on internet, but when you stop ads, your traffic will also stop. So organic traffic that comes through Google or any other search engine is just great for the long term. And then the second one is building your brand awareness. Also very important, and that's about getting your visitors to return to your website to get connected to your brand. So for the first part about building organic traffic, I drilled it down in 3 steps on how to get more organic traffic. First off, you have to do some keyword research. Now, the most difficult part here is how to find the best keywords, of course. And there are some tools to help you there. I'm not going to show all the tools. I'm just going to get over them here, and you will share the slides so you can look them up and dig into them. So first of all, most people don't know it, but Google has a great tool, and it's called Google Correlate. And what does it do? So you can type in a keyword, and then you can see what people are searching for before they enter that keyword. For instance, if I want to buy a BMW, I can type in BMW, and I can see what people are searching for before they buy a BMW. So that's a great example, great tool to find interesting keywords. Secondly, you can also look at your competitors. SEMrush gives you the information about your competitors, so you can look into the keywords they rank for, and you can also try to apply them. Of course, that's in the end then. You can use, for instance, Ubersuggest. This is on the bottom here. This tool can give you insights on the competition of a keyword. So if the competition is very high, it will cost you a lot to get on top of Google. So Ubersuggest gives you other additional keywords that will have less competition, so that will be easier to rank higher here in Google. The last one is Google Webmaster Tool. So you can hook up Google Webmaster to your website, and Google will give you insights on how you are currently ranking for your keywords. So that's also a very interesting tool. So these are some tools to find your keywords. And then the next step is, to start writing your content. So based on the keywords we previously defined, we can look up some very good content IDs by the tool BuzzSumo. That will give you a list of articles that were viral, score good on Google and other search engines. Then when you publish your content, of course, the last step is to analyze it. So for instance, in Google Webmaster, we can see how our article is ranking. For instance, if we are on the top 10 list in Google, that's already very good, but we can get a lot higher. And then we can tweak the title, the meta description to get even more higher. Secondly, if you're scoring very good for a given keyword, then it's very interesting to start experimenting with long tail keywords. What are long tail keywords? Long tail keywords are like 3-word keywords. It's more keywords that if I'm in a buying stage, I'm going to search more in depth. So I'm going to use more keywords, and then you know that the visitor is going to how do you say that? So if the longer the keyword, the better your traffic is going to get, because people are actually seeking actively after something very specific. So it's good to score for those long tail keywords as well. And if you score for a normal keyword and you add long tail keywords, your long tail keywords will skyrocket in Google. So these are the 2 steps. So this was the first step, so about building organic traffic. Secondly is also brand awareness. And this is also a very, very important one. Because Google loves brands, that people keep getting back to. So Google knows if you go back to a website, and that's something marketeers often forget. So it's very important to get your visitors back to your website. And there are two things you can do. It's by building backlinks. So other websites that link back to you is very important. So you can use tools like Href to find other websites and to contact them and ask if they link back to your website. Then also very interesting for building returning visitors is using newsletters, of course. Send out your blog articles to your newsletters, allow users to subscribe to your newsletter, and also to use, for instance, subscribers.com. Now, this is a very interesting tool. So if somebody comes on your website, they get a notification, so they get a pop-up notification inside the browser when you publish a new article, and then they can, it's like that you get a notification that, for instance, Story Chief published a new article. That's the part about building a tough leadership. So I'm going to get back to Valerie.
All right, thank you, Brick. It was very cool to see you again. I love the approach he does. So, guys, Story Chief, you know where to find us. If you have any questions, please just write us, contact us, and we'll be glad to help. I'll just stop sharing my screen. Just a second. Man, Sam, maybe you can help me out.
Yeah. Okay, let's just stop sharing the screen here. There we go.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Okay, awesome. Just a second.
All right, there we go.
Yeah. Okay, thank you all. If you have any questions, let me know. We are very responsive on our mails. So you can mail to hey@storychief.io. And you can try out the tool yourself if you want, or visit the website I mentioned, contentstrategychecklist.com, contentstrategychecklist.com, visit our blog, and we'll be happy to help you.
Yeah, let me just quickly jump in quickly. Next week we have a different webinar. If you aren't using Story Chief right now, this webinar will be about how to use Story Chief, so definitely sign up for that one. Let me just share the link to that in the chat quick. Bear with me 2 seconds. And the week after that, we'll also be having a different webinar about how to create interesting long read articles. That should also be very interesting if you're looking to create lots of great content with Story Chief. So sign up for both of those webinars, and yeah, we'll hopefully see you again very soon. So again, thank you so much for watching. It's been a very interesting presentation. Yeah. And we hope to see you again in a different webinar very soon. Okay.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.